now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by New Stop It, America's leading spray deodorant. Now with its anti-immunity factor. Poof, there goes perspiration. Now let's all play What's My Line?
Now let's meet the panel of What's My Line, which this week received the Radio and Television Daily Award as the Quiz Show of the Year in a poll of the nation's radio and television editors. First, the popular columnist whose column on Hollywood personalities appears each week or each month in Motion Picture Magazine, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
On my left, the charming young comedian who stars every afternoon, 5 afternoons a week on his own television show, Mr. Robert Q. Lewis.
Thank you, Dorothy. To my left, a young lady who says she hated to leave San Francisco, but by golly, we just love to see her back here. What's My Line? Arlene Francis.
And on my left, a gentleman whose column this week is read by, I guess, about 12 million people from coast to coast, and I think I've just met most of them, and most of them love it. And I'm very glad to be back on his right, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
It's too bad that Arlene is sitting down, or we'd show you her San Francisco cable scar.
Oh!
And on my left, of course, is our unsurpassable panel moderator, the only panel moderator who served at the Waldorf Astoria, Mr. John Charles Daly.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Once again tonight, we've got our cameras up and ready to go, and the panel up and ready to go, and all we need is some nice folks with some nice occupations to make us, I trust, a difficult time for the panel and a fine half hour. So we'll have a famous guest challenger a bit later on, but right now I think it's time for these experts of ours to meet our first challenger whose line has to be spotted. Would you sign in, please, sir? Will you sign in, please? Sam Nadler, right? Very precise, if firm handwriting, which I dare say will reveal a great deal to the panel, Mr. Nadler. Where are you from?
Borough Park, Brooklyn.
Borough Park in Brooklyn. Borough Park in Brooklyn. Well, you said that with great firmness, too, and this is going to reveal a great deal to the panel, but it doesn't reveal enough. And they would like to get a closer look at you. So would you be good enough to go down and let the panel see you, please?
Nadler, nice to see you.
Cheer up, Mr. Nadler. You're going to enjoy it.
All right, Mr. Nadler, down here, please. Would you pull yourself up a little closer to the microphone there, and now that the panel's had a chance to get a good look at you, we'll give them one free guess as to what your line may be. We'll begin the free guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
I think that he's a shirt manufacturer.
A shirt manufacturer, Mr. Lewis.
The gentleman looks very prosperous. I think he's probably the travel agent for John Foster Dulles.
Miss Francis.
I think he's a fight referee.
Mr. Cerf.
Well, Mr. Nadler looks so preoccupied and brilliant. I think he's a newspaper editor.
A newspaper editor? No, I'm afraid not. We'll let our viewers have a further look at Mr. Sam Nadler. At the same time, we'll tell them what his line is. All right. Mr. Nadler, you know how we score this operation, do you? All right, Mr. Nadler. Nadler is salaried. With that, let's begin the general questioning with our wandering friend, Miss Arlene Francis.
Well, Mr. Nadler, I'm practically convinced you work for a profit-making organization, do you?
Yes.
Is there any product involved in what you do?
Yes.
Is it useful?
Yes.
Do women use it?
No.
No, women do not use it. 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Mr. Nadler, is it used by any kind of human beings, namely men? No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, I think we've just ruled out practically all human beings. Is this used by any living creatures?
Yes.
Animals?
Yes.
On the ground type of animals rather than in the water type of animals?
Well, it's a double question, isn't it?
No, actually, the question is it on the ground type of animals rather than in the water type of animals?
Yes.
Well, is it likely that I would ever have met this type of animal?
I didn't get that.
Would you repeat the question, Mr. Arnold?
Is it likely that I would have ever met this particular type of animal?
Oh, yes. Yes. Yes.
Is it unlikely that I own one?
Yes. Well, is it unlikely that you own one? I would say, if Mr. Nadler will give me permission, that I think I can presume from my knowledge, Dorothy, that you do not own one.
Is it, however, a domestic animal rather than a wild animal?
Yes.
Is it anything that is ever edible?
Yes.
Is it eaten by human beings,
Yes.
who are not vegetarians, of course? Is it smaller than a pig?
Yes.
Is it other than a pig?
Yes.
Could it ever take off the ground,
Well,
even a little bit?
You mean hop?
Get off, no.
No, actually, what do you mean? Everything can leave the ground if it so wills that's got something to move up into space with.
Well, I meant better than a cow or a pig or one of those animals. I guess I meant really, was it some sort of fowl?
Is that the question? Is it some sort of fowl?
I guess so. I've had it long enough. Yes.
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 All right. Is it a chicken?
Yes.
Yes.
You do something to a chicken?
Well, does something that's connected with a chicken, yes.
Well, he doesn't manufacture it.
Does he?
Are you a chicken flicker?
No.
Nope. That's 3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Lewis.
well, I know a lot about chickens. I work for a chicken sponsor. Let me see now. You do perhaps something to assist a chicken in some way. And there are many ways you could help a chicken.
No. It doesn't help them.
You don't help chickens at all.
Well, now, I would say, again, I will have to ask Mr. Nadler's indulgence on this, Mr. Nadler, rather. I would think that in a very general way we could say that the end result of his efforts is that chickens might be described as being helped, wouldn't you say?
That way, yes.
You mean they wouldn't know about it?
They don't.
Well, then, is what you do something that would in any way change the physical appearance of a chicken?
You mean like God, is that all?
Yes, I think we can say, Robert, that what Mr. Nadler does in connection with the chicken tends to change the appearance of the chicken.
And does what you do, well, now let's just get right down to it. Are you specifically a vet for chickens?
A
What
vet
I
for
had in
chickens?
mind.
No. 4 down and 6 to go, Miss Francis.
Nevertheless, after Mr. Nadler handles the chicken, it looks differently. Is that correct? Is that what you tried to say?
Well, what we did say was that his connection with the chicken carried out to its full fruition would tend to change the appearance of the chicken.
Well, I gather from that he's either a chicken breeder or a chicken plucker.
A chicken plucker or a chicken breeder. You want to take one of those and be firm with it?
No, because I have a feeling you're going to say no to both of them anyway.
Right. 5 down and 5 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Well, Mr. Nadler, is it Nadler or Nadler? We're tossing these two names around.
Well, you can call it Nadler.
Well, I will, then.
You can call me Nadler.
All right, Mr. Nadler. Do you have anything to do with with chickens before they are born?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you have anything to do with the care or feeding of the chickens?
The care or feeding of a chicken? No. That's 7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Lewis.
What, I think it might help if we found out what part of the chicken he changes. Well, let's work. Does the part that changes... Would the chicken look differently when you'd finished with him or her? Or her, darling. the neck up. Would they look differently in that area?
Yes.
They would?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Lewis Francis, Miss Francis. I'm going to give you 1 minute more.
Well, if you say the chicken is better off, you can't possibly mean what we talked about. For you don't cut the heads off chickens, do you?
No.
They wouldn't look much.
Yes, Mr. Nadler does not cut the heads
He
off
does
chickens,
not cut. No, the chicken is still alive after you've handled it. Is that
Yes.
correct?
The connection with which the chicken and Mr. Nadler are enjoined. Go on, I'm mixed up.
Do you feed
Yeah.
the chicken?
We have a...
What?
Does he make any feed for the chicken?
Feed for the chicken?
No.
No. That, take down.
Well, do you make some kind of millinery for the chicken?
Millinery. How about that? Let's find out a one to go, Miss
Do
Kilgallen.
you have, could we have a conference?
You may have 10 seconds
Do you
for a
think
conference.
maybe he colors them or does something? No.
He teaches them how to cross the street.
Trains.
Put on chickens to prevent them from scratching other chickens.
All right, the 10 seconds is up. Miss Kilgallen.
Muzzles.
No, there is a
All
thing.
right. Bob has an idea, and I'm going along with it.
I don't know where it is.
Is it something? Do you have something to do with something you put on the chickens to keep them from scratching other chickens?
Gloves.
Actually, because of the word scratching, on a technicality, I'm going to rule a no, but I think Dorothy was getting close to it. Mr. Nadler sells eyeglasses for chickens because... Actually, I got the...
Across the street.
Chickens have a bad habit of chewing each other if they see red or
Picking
something.
eyes?
So Mr. Nadler makes
Oh,
this thing
well,
here. You
Bob
see, you
was-
put it on the nose, and then it can't see this way or that way. I don't know. Anyway, that fixes the chicken up, and he doesn't go picking other chickens, and Mr. Nadler gets the full prize, and our thanks for being a wonderful guest.
That's for
on What's My
three-dimensional
Line.
movies.
Sure. Who are you with, Mr. Nadler?
The name of my concern is the National Farm Equipment Company. We're in 142 Green Street. And we sell about from 2 to 3 million a year.
See how many chickens wear eyeglasses. How is your vision? Your vision. All right, Mr. Nadler. Thank you very much. All right, let's see what you can do with another challenger. Panel, would you sign in, please, ma'am? Anna Ciccacci? How are you? Is it Miss or Mrs. Ciccacci?
Miss.
Miss Ciccacci. Where are you from?
From Rome, Italy.
From Rome, Italy. That's wonderful. That's great, because this ought to have the panel somewhat flustered already. So now they get one chance to get a closer look at you. Would you take a walk down in front of the panel, please?
Welcome, Mr. Jackson.
All right, Miss Ciccacci, if you'll come over here, please, and sit down next to me. The panel gets one free guess as to what your line may be on the basis of their brief acquaintance. We'll begin the free guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
I think she makes galoshes for chickens.
Makes galoshes for chickens.
Mr. Ciccacci is from Rome. In Rome, she does as Romans do.
Thank you, Robin Q.
That's all.
Is that the end?
That's the end.
Oh, that's the end. Miss Francis.
I think Mr. Ciccacci, excuse me, Mr. Ciccacci, is a script girl for Italian pictures.
Mr. Cerf.
I think Mr. Cacci is a dancer. He dances the Hoochie-Cacci.
I'm hurting bad, but none of you have it right. We'll let our viewers have a further look at Miss Anna Ciccacci of Rome, Italy. At the same time, we'll tell them what her line is. And then, panel, it's up to you. Now, Mr. Ciccacci, you know how we score this. You say no, and I flip a card. You all set?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Ciccacci is salaried. We'll begin the general questioning with Robert Q. Lewis, and I'm going to hold you to about 3.5 minutes on this, because it's one of those you ought to go get quickly if you get it at all.
Buongiorno, Miss Ciccacci. Miss Ciccacci.
Speak French, too?
A lovely word, lovely name. Although you are from Rome, may we hope that what you do is done in this country?
Yes.
Good. Then do you perform perhaps a service?
Yes, I do.
Uh-huh. And could I come to you for this service?
You may.
Mm-hmm.
Want me,
You want to go now?
Well,
want me to make an appointment?
if you're ready, I should be very happy to. I think. Mr. Kachi, do you by any chance work at a place where food and beverage is served?
Yes. You've already been there.
Might they be famous for things like, pizza pies or something like that?
No.
One down and 9 to go, Miss Francis.
So that food and beverage is served at the place you work is something else also done at the place you work?
Oh, yes.
It's a very large building, is it, in which you work?
Yes, it is.
Would it be a building like the United Nations?
You mean, is it the United Nations?
As big
That
as
isn't
that?
what I said, but as big as the United Nations, that type of building?
It's a big building.
Don't give her so much. Say no. We'll flip a card. 2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Cerf. It's a big building, but it doesn't look like the United Nations.
I know what it is.
I've got to put on my glasses to see this chicken. Mr. Kachi, might it be a hotel that you work at?
No, it is not.
That's 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Senior Lim, by any chance do you work for a non-profit making organization?
It is a non-profit making organization.
You work for a government.
Yes,
Would this be described as any type of institution that you work for?
it is.
Is it an institution which Mr. Lewis would rather escape if he could?
No.
No way.
Oh, yes.
I think if he was offered his choice, he'd rather not go. Yes. I mean, what you mean is escape from, Dorothy?
Well, that he would rather never get into it at all.
Yes, that's
He
right.
would rather escape ever being in it.
That's right.
The audience did laugh when he said he'd be glad to go along. Is it in any sense a disciplinary institution?
No.
That makes it 4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Lewis.
Oh, well, then I guess I wouldn't be so happy. Let me see, then. It's not disciplinary. Then would it be a beneficial type building? Would it have anything to do with medicine?
Yes.
Do you then work for a city hospital?
Yes.
Well, do I have to find out some more?
What? Yes, what does
you do?
Mr. Kutch do?
Well, you are probably the most beautiful nurse in the entire hospital.
No.
That's, we are answering to the occupation, not the very well-deserved statement as to beauty. 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis. I'm going to give you one more minute.
Are you a doctor?
Yes.
Do I have to find out what Madam is a doctor of, or
No,
Madam?
actually, I think you've done very well. Actually, it's a rather special kind of doctor, at least in the degree of the services now performed. But since it's Sunday, we'll flip all the cards and give the rest away. Dr. Chikachi is an anesthetician and administers anesthetics at Bellevue Hospital here in New York. Doctor, thank you very much for being our guest. Hope you had fun. It was nice to have you. All right, in just a moment, we'll meet tonight's mystery guest. But first, here is a new dance pantomime by Dorothy Jonak for Stopette.
When it comes to a deodorant, some people are still in the dark. Maybe it's time we threw a little light on the subject. You want a deodorant to make you mighty like a rose. But if you think that's enough, you're very, very mistaken. So, why don't you get next to Stopette? Stopette protects those pretties next to you. That devastating dress. That altogether bewitching lingerie. You see, Stopette is an antiperspirant, too, and here's how it works. It closes down your pores like so many tiny, tiny little windows. But Stopette doesn't stop there. Stopette is gentle as a spring day. When you pick Stopette, you're picking a lotion spray with soothing, soothing ingredients. It's wonderful. Poof! There goes perspiration. Shouldn't you get Stopette?
That was Dorothy Jarnack. Isn't she wonderful? But now, I have some wonderful news. Because we're so sure you'll find Stopette everything you want in a deodorant, we're offering you this 47-day trial bottle free. When you buy the regular size bottle of Stop-Et at the regular price, you'll get this generous trial bottle with it. An extra 47-day supply. It's your opportunity to see for yourself why so many millions of women and men insist on Stop-Et, America's most popular spray deodorant. Get Stop-Et now. Get your 47-day trial bottle free.
Now we come to the special feature of our show, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which my friends in the panel are always blindfolded. Are those blindfolds in place, panel?
Si.
Yes, they are.
Good. Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenger, we get right down to the general questioning, which we will begin with Miss Kilgallen.
Do you work for a profit-making organization?
I certainly do.
Well, are you in some branch of the entertainment world?
I try.
Pretty hard, too.
Have you ever been in motion pictures?
Oh, yes.
When you're singing professionally, is your voice really lower than that?
Small conference.
Well, all right,
I
John.
She must be pretty.
I have had a small conference.
Well, good luck to you.
My ups and my downs and my singing.
Well, could it be put this way? Are you a little less long hair than you're trying to sound now?
Do you object?
No.
I would think yes.
I love it, but I just, I thought maybe it was a little out of character.
I would think the answer to your question is yes.
Have you sung on records?
Yes. Haven't you bought?
I certainly, if you're who I'm beginning to think you are you married?
Yes.
Have you any children?
Oh, yes.
Did we ever meet in an airport outside of this country once?
I have a very poor memory.
Oh. I'll ask you another question. Did we ever meet in Paris?
No.
Well,
One down and 9 to go, Mr. Lewis.
Now then, you've said that you... I won't inflict that. May I ask, do you appear regularly on television?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
so I thought it was.
Yeah.
Do you appear mostly in motion pictures as opposed to television and the theater?
Yes, the others have never asked me.
Are you known for something other than your singing? And I mean no offense.
It certainly hurts so.
No, I mean, are you?
Yes.
You are?
Yes, yes.
One would consider you an actress then, rather than a singer.
Conference, please.
I would say yes.
An actress rather than a singer, but she is really bucking for a musical career, I can see that. Do you dance?
Yes, actress fashion.
I see, but primarily you're an actress. All right, then. Are you the leading woman?
I certainly am.
There's no doubt about that. And have you been in pictures for, let's say, at least 5 years?
Yes.
And have you been a star since you started in pictures?
Yes. Thank
And
heaven.
are you I really don't know where I am, but let's find out what color you are. Are you blonde?
I'm going to ask our guest to answer mostly because I am uncertain about certain things.
Well, are you blonde now?
Yes!
All right.
I would only say this, that I was uncertain as to whether it was red or blonde because, it had...
It's terribly chic.
Are
lovely.
you under contract to any studio?
Yes?
Is it, Warner Brothers?
No!
Panel, I'm going to have to throw in the towel because...
I know who this is.
Who is it, Bennett? I'll give you one name because we got to throw in the towel.
Does she sometimes swim, this girl?
Who is it, Bennett?
Esther Williams.
Esther Williams is right. Well, that's wonderful. Wonderful.
I knew I'd get the water before we were through.
What wonderful happenstance brought you to New York to us to bubble water?
Oh, well, as a matter of fact, I've never seen New York in the snow.
Oh, well, we
And
didn't
then
have
it
too
stopped
much.
just as we got here.
We'll arrange things better.
But also, I've been meeting the press and making some appearances on television and everywhere in connection with my picture, Jupiter's Darling. It's opening at the Music Hall in about 3 or 4
Cinemascope,
weeks.
isn't it? Cinemascope?
It's the musical version of Road to Rome. Go see it.
I'll go see it.
Promise now.
I promise, Boy Scout. And
All
thanks
right.
so much for being such a wonderful guest.
Thank you.
Nice to have had you with us, Mrs. Day. This is Ben Gaines. Thank you. We'll be back in just a moment, but first of all, here is Arlene Gray for Stopette.
Of course, you know Stopette spray deodorant. But it may be news to you that you can get the famous Stopette formula in a brand new form. A cream stick, for those of you who may prefer a cream. It's so easy to use. Swivels out just like a lipstick. And unlike many other sticks, this new Stopette cream is a deodorant and an antiperspirant, too. So, now you have 2 choices, cream or spray. And both are really wonderful.
Before our panel says goodnight, may I remind you to tune in again next Sunday evening at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when once again we invite you to play What's My Line? For other localities, check your local listings for the date and time of our weekly series.
And now a message from our alternate week sponsor, Remington Rand, makers of the Remington 60 Deluxe electric shaver. The shaver that's so gentle, it can shave a peach. So rugged, it can shave a brush. Proving that no matter how tender your skin or tough your beard, the Remington's bound to give you a close, comfortable shave. Tomorrow, why don't you reach for the Remington? Get a Remington 60 Deluxe.
Now I've got to let you in on a secret that tickles me. Robert Q. Lewis had carefully made a list of everybody who was in town who might be the guest tonight, and right up near the top is Esther Williams, but he didn't even think about it. So, until next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Miss Dorothy.
Good night. Next time, bring the right list, will you, Bob?
Yeah. Good night, Arlene. Or Dorothy, or everybody.
Good night, Bennett.
Well, there's a big picture of Esther Williams on the front page of the paper today. Good night, John.
Good night, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Codman production in association with the CBS Television Network.